Today I'm going to showcase the integration of developer sandbox workflow within the VS Code IDE. So let's get started. Once you have opened the VS Code view, in the application explorer, we have this add OpenShift cluster button, or we had this plus icon where you can open the view to provision our OpenShift cluster. So let's get ahead. Previously, we used to allow the workflow within the IDE for code-ready containers and to launch a developer sandbox or to deploy our applications on cloud. The links redirected to the browsers. But in this release, what we have added is you can provision your developer sandbox also from your IDE itself. This will basically open up a view which will allow us to provision the DevSandbox instance. If you see, the top part basically refers what DevSandbox is and some information for the users if they want to learn more about it, or they want to contact the team, or they want to connect with them on Slack. So those information are available. There are two different workflows. If you already have a Red Hat account, you can directly log into Red Hat and you will be authenticated, and your DevSandbox cluster can be provisioned once it's approved. If you want to sign up with a different account apart from Red Hat, you have to do a phone verification. So all those steps will be directly done within your ID itself. So you don't have to leave your ID. From authentication to verification to launch provisioning a cluster, everything from within the ID. So this will basically improve the developer experience. So let's see how it works. So let me just provision a new user for Red Hat account, and I'll just click on sign up. So once the sign up page opens on browser, I'll just go to the login and I'll register to new user. And I'll just say, okay, it's a personal account. My Red Hat account is already created. I need to verify that. So that mail will be there on my inbox. I go to this and I just say login to Red Hat. So this will basically open a dialog which asks me to allow permissions for the OpenShift connector to sign into Red Hat. Once I say allows, it goes to the browser, it verifies to Red Hat SSO, and once it verifies it and I say yes, I go back to my ID. So it basically checks whether my account already has a DevSandbox instance provisioned. If it already has been, it will basically open me that view, but right now I do not have. So it says that, okay, it's not yet provisioned. Let's get started. And once I've already authenticated, if you see on this user icon, my Red Hat credentials are already there. So I'm already authenticated to the Red Hat SSO. Now let's get started in the sandbox. It will detect the instance. Now it needs a phone verification, and I have successfully verified it. So now you see my account already has been provisioned and it's ready to use because I'm already been verified. Now to open my dashboard, I need to verify my email address too. So below we have mentioned what are the different steps needed for the user to open the dashboard and connect to the developer sandbox instance. I'll briefly go through them. The first one is once you open the dashboard, it will open the console view where you can log in with the DevSandbox credentials. And once you log into DevSandbox credential, you need to copy the token ID. Once the token ID is copied, you come back to the ID itself and just do log into Sandbox. This will log in you to the application explorer view, and you can directly start working with your OpenShift cluster provision and deploy your applications on top of it. And I'll open the dashboard and log in with DevSandbox. And this is where my DevSandbox cluster, which was provisioned, has this view, and you can see Mohit SK as dev project is present. I'll go back to my ID and I will just use login to sandbox. So before doing that, I need to copy this token. So I go to username, copy login token. Again, I have to log in using this display token, and I just need to copy this and try to do login to sandbox. So now you see successfully logged into this cluster, and my cluster is already logged into my OpenShift view. So this way, as a user, I have already got a new provision cluster from DevSandbox, which is valid for 30 days. And let's see if I close my VS Code and everything, and I come back again after a few days, and I again want to provision a DevSandbox, and I do this. So it basically checks whether my account already has a DevSandbox instance or not. If it already has, it will basically update me with this. If not, it will allow me to go through the steps again. If I log out from this credentials, and try to run this again. So it will again prompt me from the same workflow, and now I can log into a different Red Hat account. That way, this allows us to work with different accounts where we have provisioned a DevSandbox instance. A very quick workflow, and this access level for 30 days. So it allows the users to just provision it once, start using it for 30 days, and again re-provision it, and they never need to worry about working with OpenShift clusters in VS Code. So that's for the demo. Thank you guys. For any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, and please provide some feedback on GitHub. Thank you for your time.